Hello and welcome to the This Is Metal Show with Tom Collier. Tom, my co-host there, is the lead singer, or former lead singer, principal songwriter, and guitar player of the New York band Held Hostage. Our special guest is his Held Hostage drummer, Rhino. Many people know Rhino from his days as a drummer for Manowar, and we're talking to Rhino today about his new band, not such a new band, but Angels of Babylon. They have a new album coming out on Fire Rock Music, who sponsored our show here. So we thank them for that. So Rhino, why don't you tell us how you first got the deal with Fire Rock Music Group?
Well, let's see. Let me think about that for a minute. I was walking down the street one day and I was drugged out and I was doing heroin. And Tom came out, he saw me, he's like, "Man, are you okay? Who are you?" And I said, "Well, I used to be a famous drummer in a popular heavy metal band." And he's like, "Man, you need some help? You need some money?" I said, "Well," I said, I do have a band called Angels of Babylon, and we used to play out a lot, but I got drugged up and I hit the streets real hard and fell on hard times." And Tom's like, "Man, come on in." He let me come into his house and gave me some food and some shelter. And I said, "Well, I got this band, like I said, and I wonder if you could help us out. I heard you had a record label." And he was like, "Yeah, man, I got a record label. Let me hear some of your tunes." And that was that, man.
Yeah, and I should also mention we got with us Lethal
I'm
X, who's
just
the,
joking.
the owner of Chaotic Risk TV and magazine. So thanks, Lethal X, for joining us. That's a great story. But what it shows is Rhino's got such a great sense of humor, which is something I seen when I met both of you guys in person recently in Southern California when you came out to do the Metal Hall of Fame event. And I met you guys both in person for the first time, and I could tell there's a real bond and chemistry. So another thing I'd like to know is how did you guys really initially first meet? Because meeting you two guys in person, the one thing that is obvious is there's that real chemistry. You guys seem to have a real connection.
No, I like Tom. Tom's a great guy, man. There's no kidding. This is no joke. I mean, the guy is he's a real human being. He's a very down to earth person, and he just he knows me from some mutual friends through Manowar and through in that area. Everybody is from up that area up in upstate New York, and the guy just, I think was enthused about my music and what I was doing, and he likes what I do, and I like what he does, and we just got in contact with each other, and we hit it off, and that's really basically the gist of the whole story.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just like each other. We're friends. We're not only just we're not only just business partners together, but we're also friends, man. Like I said, the guy's a great guy, and he brought me and my wife out to NAMM and Los Angeles, and I mean, I can't ask for a better friend than somebody like Tom, man. He's
Yeah,
just I know I hope he hears this.
I think that's really important because how many of our favorite bands that we grew up listening to, you know, these are bands where guys just can't stand being in the same room with each other. They just like play together just
Oh,
to.
that happened with me almost every single band I was ever in. I mean, I'm not trying, throwing any positive and negative stuff here, but every band I've ever been in, there's just somebody I couldn't stand.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
Well,
now let me throw it to Lethal X. I'm sure you have a few questions for Rhino.
Oh, I'm just kind of taking it in. I remember the Manowar days. I had some of the albums and so forth. But yeah, I know Tom's a really good guy, and I was following a lot of the stuff you guys were doing when you were out in NAMM and with Jason. And we haven't met personally yet, but that'll happen one day, of course. But so I was going back and looking at some of the Angel of Babylon stuff and so forth, and I see you playing the drums and you're singing on there. That's got to be a little bit of a challenge, I would think.
yeah, but not really. I mean, I grew up in a musical family. My father was a musician. And one day, well, the deal was is that as I got older, he needed a drummer, and he's like, I think now it's time for you to join the band and be a part of this thing. And one day he just said to me, "Hey, I want you to sing some songs." I said, "Okay, I guess I could try it." You know, um, and the one song he wanted me to do was YMCA by the Village People. I
What a
said, "Are you
crowd
kidding
pleaser.
me?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really want me to do YMCA?" He's like, well, I don't want to sing it. I'd rather have you sing it. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, I get
I'll do it.
it. Yeah. Oh,
And I did. I sang YMCA. He goes, he said, you sound pretty good. Why don't you do some other stuff? And he threw at me like, rock and roll. It was just a 50s and 60s show band. We also did a little other stuff, some pop and some rock thing. I want you to do rock and roll by Led Zeppelin. I was, okay. And it just felt natural. It really wasn't a chore. It just came up easy for me. And we auditioned a lot of singers with Angels of Babylon. I just couldn't find, just could not find what I wanted. I wanted somebody to sound, close to like a Dio, kind of more of a manly, not such a, I wanted more of that manly sound, and just couldn't find it. But I sang all the demos, and I thought, well, since we can't find it, I think I'll just do it myself.
Do you think part of that is being that you were so close to these songs, being that you were, the primary writer on these songs, that maybe you'd be more critical of somebody else coming in and singing these songs, or you have a built-in idea of how the song should sound?
That's possible. I mean, I do, and I always have had a particular idea of what my band and what my music should sound like. But yeah, I just wanted a particular style. And I was used to me singing them. I thought, well, I'll just do it. I just 3-piece. It'll be easy, on stage, and that's that.
And again, I got to tell you, in prepping for today's interview, I listened to some of the Angels of Babylon. One of the songs I really dug was "Kingdom of Evil." I got to tell you, Rhino, when just the title alone, I was expecting to hear this like heavy, aggressive song, but what you get is like the vocals are just really strong, and you think, you being a drummer, that maybe you'd expect the drums to be front and center in a project like this, but they're just all great songs. The vocals really, you kill it vocally, and the band itself is just on fire. But your ability as a songwriter just really comes to life. I'm able to tell this guy is much more than just a drummer. He does what's best for the song.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I also did a project I spent 4 years writing. Nobody really knows about it. It's called I called it Shadow Symphony. Anyway, it's
Tom mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about an hour of music with a storyline to it, man. It's pretty cool. I mean, the recording's a little, it was back in the day. I didn't know anything about recording or mixing. The recording's a little rough, but the vibe and the story and all that's really cool, man. I'll have to send you a copy of that. I think you'll like it a lot.
I'd love to check out. Now let me ask you, Tom, being the record company president, what can you tell us about the new release coming out from Angels of Babylon? I was curious, are these all new songs, or is this some of the older material just finally pressed on a CD or whatever?
So it's all new songs, great songs. He's had them for a while. When I heard them, when they were sending them to me, I was blown away. This whole album is melodic. It's great rock. The songs are so well written. I just think that everybody's going to be shocked when they hear this album. I think it's going to do very well. I mean, we had to bring the guy. Plus, I love Rhino. He's such a great guy. We had so much fun in California. Him and his wife.
It was great.
They came to New York. We had a blast in New York, and then we went to California together. We're definitely going to do that again soon. But this new album, I mean, why don't you talk about some of the ideas you came up with for Aquarius, Rhino? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm glad you asked that, Tom. Well, I am a Christian, and I know. Look, man, I don't really necessarily think that every Christian musician out there should be writing or has an obligation to write a Christian album, and that's kind of my take on it. I never really wanted to write particularly. I never felt that spirit in me from God to say, you now need to start writing Christian music. Well, it just didn't hit me like that. And but every now and then in the music, there's might be one or two, similar or touch on that subject a little bit. But Aquarius is one of those songs where I thought, there is a time when there's going to be I thought to myself, there's definitely going to be a time when, people will start to, we're heading that way where, technology and mankind, kind of mix into one. And they call it the age of Aquarius, where everybody's going to really, there's going to turn over a whole new train of thought, and people will start to, I think people will start to worship the creature instead of the creator. I think they worship themselves, they worship their bodies, they worship their flesh, they worship, their TVs, they're all their idols, but they have forgotten about the real the real one, and that's what Aquarius is about, basically.
Wow. So let me ask you,
Uh,
Rhino, as far as Angels of Babylon, any plans to take it on the road, and who's playing on the album with you and in the band?
Yeah, I would love to go on the road with I've always dreamed of, touring with this band and all that. Of course, right now, Ned Maloney is playing bass, and Alex Stevens, he lives in Atlanta. I knew this guy. He's 30, I think, like 30, 31 or 32. I know when he was 15 years old, he couldn't even play guitar.
Wow.
And it's almost like he grew up learning how to play guitar just so he could be in my band.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it ended up. He's like, man, one day I need a guitar player. Would you like to do this? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to do it.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's it, just the three of us.
Oh, that's cool. And I know David Ellefson was at one point involved with the band. What happened
Yeah.
there? Was it initially just a one-time project, or?
Well, what happened there was I met him in Phoenix, Arizona, in a studio. I was doing some session work. He was there, and I said, I just came out and asked him, hey, I got a bunch of songs, about 10 songs. They're already ready. They're demoed. Would you like to be a part of this band? And he just said, yeah. Just like that. And I said, cool. So he decided to be a part of it. And really, literally within days of it being released, he went back to Megadeth, and that's that.
Yeah. And so, Tom, like I said, I got a chance to meet both of you guys when you went out to California, and I got the chance to see Held Hostage play live at the Metal Hall of Fame. And what an impressive band! So much that you shared with me that you've already been asked to come back to the event next year to perform. So they really love you there. And let me ask you, what was it like to play that event? Because to me, it was a real fun thing to attend.
Oh, it's exciting. That's our second year in a row. We were there the year before with Twisted Sister. They asked us back, and then after we finished, they asked us again if we wanted to come back next year. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's really not a pressure event, because the event's all about the guys getting inducted.
Yeah.
To play the music, and I brought the right guys out there. It was just, once you get things rolling, it was good. And we played a couple nights in a row, which we really enjoyed. And it was fun having Rhino out there. That was our second live gig together.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the whole event, you're very much right that the bands that perform live is almost kind of the second act. I very much dug watching the people get inducted and get their awards. It was fun to see like Carlos Cavazo, who's got his hands in a lot of projects these days, a lot more so than he used to. He's a lot more than just a former guitarist of Quiet Riot, and he's a very humble guy, and he doesn't talk too much. And so to see him get up there and kind of really say, hey, this is Garden Grove, where I'm originally from, and it's almost like coming full circle. He was really humble, and I am very thankful, and I liked that. And we got to see Mick Mars give a speech over like the video prompter, because he was in Nashville, he wasn't able to make it, but I really dug like Sebastian Bach's little speech. He's a real fun guy, and he was another one like, for rock and roll, and he was really put on the attitude, but he was a very humble guy too, and seemed to be very appreciative of his fans.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great event out through there. But like I say, we went out there and we had so much fun. We went to the Hotel California. Rhino's wife was with us. We met some great people out there. Rhino, didn't we? What was your thoughts of it?
Oh, it was such a great experience. The thing is I work my butt off at my job, 50 something hours a week, and she works like crazy. And, just to get out and be a part of that world and be out there with Tom, and, he really made things so good for us. He had such an upbeat personality, and, had a lot of laughs. It wasn't anything heavy, or I I love it, man. Only thing I didn't like, I think, was Sebastian Bach and his long speech. I'm just kidding, man. I like Sebastian. I actually really like the guy. He's really, really cool to me.
That was kind of my point because people have a love-hate thing for him, and I've often kind of felt the same way. But that night, I'm like, this guy, he's come across very, very authentic, very appreciative of his fans, which I always think is, cool. Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. And so, can you guys give us an update on what's going on with, the new Held Hostage album? How far are you guys into recording that?
Well, I'm finishing up all the pre-production onto it. I've been traveling. Like I was just in LA, Vegas, LA. I just got back at 3:00 this morning, went to work.
Wow. Yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah.
So once I get everything done, I'll get it out to Rhino, and Rhino will lay his drum tracks onto it.
Yeah.
But the songs are pretty much written. I always go through this where I'm not happy and I rewrite stuff.
I do that all the time too. I do that too.
It's
That's
a curse
for an artist. I do the graphic stuff and the video, and every time you do it, you're like, there's just something not right about this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude, I with the newest Angels of Battle, I must have remixed it probably a million times, man. And I finally just have to say, that's it, I'm done.
That's what I always do.
I think that's going to be the cool thing about this Angels of Babylon album when it gets released. Do you have a release date for it, Tom, yet?
March 1st, next week.
Next Friday, which, so tell the people how they can get a copy if they want. I mean, we'll be able to get physical copies.
We're starting off with a digital release. It'll be available, digitally through Amazon, through Walmart. It'll be everywhere live digitally. And once we get it going, then we'll probably go to physical products. But we wanted to get it out. We wanted to get it out on the radios and stuff like that too. So we're starting off with a digital release on March 1st.
And again, I think what's fun and listening to Angels of Babylon for me is I think a lot of people are going to expect it to maybe, Manowar Drummer is going to be real heavy and aggressive. It's got its own sound, and I think people are going to be really impressed by what a great vocalist Rhino is.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, I have some friends of mine in a Manowar tribute band called Sons of Odin in Italy, and they actually learned the songs, and they let me go out front and sing, front as a front man.
Yeah.
I love that. I really like that. It's fun.
A lot more guys are probably capable of doing so. I mean, one of my favorite musicians of all time, Albert Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult. I've had the privilege of interviewing him several times, and he's doing he's releasing solo music now, and he's going out and not even being behind the drums anymore, which is what he's playing guitar and singing lead, which I just love that because it shows the same kind of bit like Dave Grohl. For years he was known as a drummer, and now he's a front man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's great. You go on YouTube, actually see some footage of me on the stage, and acting a fool. Yeah.
So Rhino, why don't you let people know where they can find you online if they want to, or get in touch with you?
Well, obviously, Kenny Rhino Earl. That's my Facebook page. And man, you know how YouTube is. Just search me out. I'm there. Angels of Babylon has its what happened was we had 4 or 5 different pages, but I can't even get half of them taken down because I don't even know who put them up, what the passwords are, all that crap. I have no idea. But there is one that I think says official, so I think that one they should seek out.
I got to ask you, how did you come up with the name? Because it's a cool name, and I love the logo. Who designed that?
The logo was actually designed by a friend of David Ellison.
Oh, cool.
And all I can remember him was saying his name was Pride. He called himself Pride.
Okay.
I don't know.
What name?
Angels of Babylon. Hey, man, just the thought of, angels in Babylon, and
just a vision of that,
yeah.
So it's about ready to about time to wrap it up, guys. You two guys want to ask Rhino anything before we let him go?
Leaf?
I know what you're going to ask me. Did I have to wear the assless chaps when I was in Manowar?
Maybe you can wear it when you're on stage with Held Hostage.
Yeah, the answer is no. But don't get me wrong, I was pretty scared about that situation. And I was actually the band the last year they did that, and I actually did not have to do that.
It's a fun fact. Hey Tom, maybe you can have the whole band try that out.
Yeah,
Why not? Come back in style.
I'll take a bow.
yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. Rhino, thanks for coming on with us, brother. Good seeing you. And I'll be in touch with you very soon. We'll get this release roll out for you next week.
And we'll be getting
All
this
right,
interview up, Rhino, in probably about 2 weeks, so we'll be sure to let you know when it goes up. And thanks so much for coming on. You know we're gonna have you back.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks,
Bye-bye,
Rhino.
guys.
Appreciate you doing this for us.
Thank you.
Okay, Leif and Tom, over now. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.